what is going on, do you think, in our culture that's making this connection between somehow if we bring up mass incarceration, redlining, systems, we're not we're not patriotic, or we don't care about our nation, and how do we move past that as Christians?
Yeah, I mean, man, it's a big question. Obviously, it's what's blowing up everything around us politically. Somewhere along the line, I think that, and we have a whole chapter, called "When God and Country Don't Go Together." We're not against the ideas of being grateful for a nation and understanding that all blessings come from God, but a lot of the sort of core, I think, of where racism can be overlooked. So if it exists where it's easy for us to overlook it, comes out of this exceptionalism of that, hey, we kind of replace Israel even in the Bible with the United States. We sort of throw away historical context, biblical context, and take on a place, instead of going, hey, God wants to bless all the nations. That's the central premise of the entire Bible. This idea that, yeah, but ours is a little bit better. And when you begin to believe you're a little bit better, you stop the things that could make you better, because there's a humility as at the central core. And if you really, again, as a history guy, and there's so much history in this book, there was a humility in the founders who made a lot of mistakes, but that they never claimed to not make mistakes. There's a reason George Washington didn't want to do a third term. There's a reason that he talked about that we have the right to establish and to alter our states of government. The reason was he knew alteration would need to continue, and I'm not going to make a good king, everybody. We've had that before. So, that monarchy was an exceptionalism. Hey, this king is above the rest of us. And somehow I think we've elevated this sort of idea of America sometimes above the real America. And so loving our country means, yes, let's defend our country. Loving our country means, yes, we're not out to tear it down. But the best way, and this is as a pastor in my life, the best way to love people is not to convince them that they don't need to keep changing. Actually, to love them really well is to say, hey, how can you be honest about other places in your life where God is still working in you? He is still working. Now, how can you invite him into those broken spaces? And so there's broken spaces in America that I think a lot of the church is just going, la, 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 la. No, this is God's place. It's like, if this is God's place, then God's ways should reign here. And God's ways begin with humility.